Nixon apparently criticized the CIA, and so it's coming out that that's basically why they got rid of Nixon in the first place.
Yeah?
Yeah, the whole staging of the tapes. What is it? Watergate.
Yeah, well, we are on, so this is being included. This is great.
You can't just criticize CIA.
Yeah.
Hey, before you abuse, criticize, and confuse, walk a mile in my shoes. Elvis Presley, everyone.
I think he said, before you abuse, criticize, or disuse, walk a mile in my shoes, baby. Make me a sandwich.
I was just going to say, this sandwich is great. Also, I'm dying.
Check out my feet. I can move my feet really fast.
Everyone that dies, I guess, in their impression, I have to say, also, I'm dying.
It's like playing acting roulette with a bunch of untalented community theater kids.
So what we're doing right now.
Yeah, basically, exactly.
80,000 pages of untalented community theater kids. 60,000 of them.
Does the internet know what the heck you're talking about?
No, neither do we.
Okay.
So, you got those JFK files, 80,000 pages, I think it was, on the JFK files that were released. And apparently they don't say very much.
Yeah, most of it was redacted.
They say, we shot him. We shot him right in the head.
Right?
Yeah.
I think that the reason they waited so long to release these was because they were like, this is going to take unnecessary work time in our country for people to sift through it. So they waited until there's large language models that can do it, I really do wonder about that,
Or if it's super, actually, there's no material there, and...
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I remember... I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, so it sounds like they're really not finding much other than there's literally one paragraph where someone essentially just sort of states the conspiracy, which is that they're like, a small cabal within the CIA orchestrated the assassination of JFK, and that's all it says.
Yeah, we already knew that.
Yeah,
But,
I mean, it's pretty obvious.
right?
some people have to wait for the government.
But you got to keep in mind how dumb these boomers are, and they're watching the news, and they're coming on. They're like, somebody shot our president. It was definitely a malactor, some sort of terrorist, perhaps a foreigner, and we're gonna find him. And then they spend
I'd like to think
definitely
someone
an
with
Islam.
autism literally looked and said exactly that. Oh, they assassinated our president, and there must be a reason.
Who was it back then? Japs? It was a Jap.
Oh, boy.
a Jap. Well, it's for comical how much they used to hate Asian people, and now they're pretending like they love them. And
We
they
love the
these,
Asians. We love them so much.
They have their own acronym now, AP something, Asian Pacific.
Yeah.
I don't know how Pacific Islanders got lumped in. I wasn't aware that was in Asia, but okay. I thought that was in the Pacific Oceans. But I guess they just, and every time they try to do something to show they're not racist, they just reveal how insanely racist they
Extra
are.
racist.
They're like, we have to make an acronym for Asians. But the only word that we have so far is A. We have the letter A, and we need something else. Now, who else is Asian? Anybody that's not in Asia is not Asian. Well, what about those Asian-looking people in the ocean? They're kind of Asian, right?
In the ocean?
Well, no, sir. They're not. First of all, they're not in the
Atlanteans?
ocean. They're on an island. But second of all, they're not Asian because they're not in Asia. Lump them in anyway.
Get him in there.
Get them in.
You gotta want them in there.
He's gonna go better for you if you do what I say.
Trust me. Not telling you what to do, but wink, wink. Do it. Do it now.
I would
Please,
never twist your arm.
Do it, Joe. Do it. Okay.
Oh my God, they're just they're fearful as they unveil this. Like, are people going to call us racist? They're like, yeah, we got this AAPI thing. You're like, okay.
Yeah.
They didn't notice. We're good.
Everyone good? Okay. I didn't hear anything, sir. I think we're fine.
And then the blanket does not cover people in the Middle East or Russia, which are both in Asia.
Yeah.
Like, you never see it says, AAPI films. Watch more AAPI films.
Yeah.
You mean Russian films? Should I go watch Stalker?
Yeah. You should.
I mean, it's a good movie.
Yeah. Starring Vladimir Putin.
Yes.
He is greatest thing in our country since Bear on Ball.
Maybe if you did that impression at church, you wouldn't offend people.
Yeah.
Versus the Trump impersonation.
I don't think you can't do impersonations at a church.
That's how it seems. Yeah.
You can't do impersonations, you can't do breakdancing, and you can't smoke a cigarette.
Yeah.
Church.
Breakdancing?
No break.
Did you try this?
I've seen someone try it.
Yeah. That's too bad. I was about to start breakdancing.
I'd like to see that. I mean, you could. Do you want us to step aside? You can cut the
No,
road?
I really don't. I've been trying to do backflips there for a while though, but all I can do is impressions of Donald Trump. So
A list of party tricks.
Yeah.
Donald Trump impressions.
that's 1, 2, and 3. Number 4 is profit.
It's a whole bag. If I do all 3 Donald Trump impersonations, you have to sleep with me.
It's
'cause
the
I don't
holy
have
trinity
anything
of
else.
impressions. Yeah,
You can't just have a laborer work for you and not pay them.
right. Without doing a Trump impression. Thank you so much for your work. Now go home. Yeah.
Anybody been keeping up with Trump? Is he maintained his campaign promises?
Yeah, I don't know.
Well,
I think that's how it sounds. Or no, you just saying
there is one disturbing thing that I don't know what to make of. I mean, it's filtered through Alex Jones, so I don't know how helpful this is going to be. But apparently, Donald Trump did a ceremony or is about to do a ceremony with the king in the UK. And basically, I don't know, in the ceremony suggests that the king will be over the United States of America.
Well, he kind of is.
he's undoing the Revolutionary War.
Yes.
This is wild.
So it's a little scary.
What are they going to
disturbing.
tax us on
Yeah.
now? The
Well-
tea, right?
Because the Europeans, they killed most of the royals, right? Like, you know how like most of us have names, like you meet someone who's named Smith, right? Okay. A couple hundred years ago, this dude's family were Smiths, right? Serving the royals. Europe got rid of most of them. France really led the charge in that, killed a bunch of them. The only like true like remaining standing royal family is the English royal family. And they did at one point own the entire world. So the argument could be made. They still, rule the entire world.
So are we okay with this?
I don't know what to do about it, you know?
Yeah. I don't like it.
I don't think we have any recourse.
Yeah. I love that this is the exact opposite of what the revolutionaries were.
Yeah.
Imagine if they were just like, I don't think we have any recourse.
Paul Revere is like,
Literally the
our
exact
buddies are
opposite,
coming.
exact
Yeah.
opposite of what the country was founded on. Cut to 1776. It's just fucking Ben Franklin with a cigarette. I don't think we have any recourse. We literally sit here, we're pro 2A, and we're just like, well, we'd have to. Nick's over here. I don't think we have any
yeah, baby.
Undo the Revolutionary War. I don't know. It's done. Oh my god, that's so good. I'm sorry.
That's exactly what the CIA said after JFK got assassinated.
I don't think we have any recourse.
There's really nothing we can do.
Someone's gonna find out.
Right.
We can't unexplode his head. It's done.
I just wrote.
Move fast.
I just wrote 80,000 times. We did this. So, what do we do now? That's gonna be the #1 GIF of the channel. I don't think we have any recourse.
Yeah.
Oh, so good.
I'm trying to get a CIA sponsorship.
Brought to you by the CIA. Oh boy.
So this pod keeps on going, huh?
Oh my gosh. We're driving around the other day talking about I don't even know what, and Andrew just drops that on me if we have like a 10-minute conversation about depression or something and stuff. But
those are
quite the
important.
moment. Yeah.
Those are very important.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, I don't think we have any recourse, so it's gonna have to be depressed.
You just have to accept that you have a medical condition.
Right? Yeah, we're fucked, bro. I can't wait till next time I go to the doctor. I'm like, hey man, I think my leg is broken. I don't think we have any recourse. Sir, why are you smoking in the exam room? Is that like This is a Walmart. I need to.
I can trust a smoking doctor. Just
Smoking hot doctor.
Get you a Chinese doctor. Apparently, that's the hack is to get a Chinese doctor.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
if you have like a white doctor and he won't prescribe you some pills or like he's making a big deal about like ethics, just go to the Chinese doctor.
No kidding. Okay.
This is what I've heard.
Okay. Allegedly.
I've heard allegedly that they just don't care.
Well, they do have the Chinese, ancient Chinese medicine. So they have a whole level of appreciation when it comes to actually examining someone.
Eastern medicine.
Their health,
Yeah.
Holistic.
Some of that stuff's wild, man.
Oriental medicine.
But it works.
They start
sometimes.
scooping through your poop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Scooping the
I wasn't
poop.
aware that was part of it. That's pretty.
They
That's
check out
pretty
your
disappointing,
nails,
actually.
your tongue.
Yeah.
Yeah, your poop.
How do they get that?
You give it to them.
What?
You poop in a bowl.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's pretty crazy.
I already poop in a bowl.
I mean, you can get a Western doctor to do that too. They can give you it's like it's not bacteria. They put something in a pill and you take it and it colonizes your gut.
Oh. Those damn colonizers.
Yeah. You're not colonizing me.
Colonize my stomach.
I'm 132nd Cherokee and I do not bend.
You don't like it? You don't have any recourse. Oh, God.
Yeah. Sorry for completely forgetting that we're doing the pod today.
You did.
By the way.
That's all good.
I thought it was a priority, and this guy's out here forgetting about it.
Shirtless was burning the cigarette.
I seriously just showed up. He was shirtless, facing. I genuinely.
I didn't even say anything. I'm
You
just
should have
like
leaned
staring.
into it as a bit. I thought it was a bit, and I was about to die. I'm like, this is the funniest thing because I almost thought he was naked sitting here waiting for me.
I honestly,
got a
I
little
was thinking
excited,
about
didn't
taking
you?
A little
off my
bit.
shorts. Yeah.
Yeah.
Occasionally, I'll just be out here, not even wearing anything.
Yeah, and then he was like, "Oh, are we doing the podcast?" Which I also thought was a joke. He said like 17 different things before I realized this man really didn't know what was going on today.
I came in on him shirtless. I thought he was just like I thought it was a meme. He was showing off his farmer's tan.
Yeah. I do have some a little bit of sunburn going today. Can't
Good.
see it right now, but I see in the shower. Is this guy?
I've been getting a base going.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm getting the season started off.
like that.
I'm gonna be catching some major sun over the weekend.
Nice.
Yeah. So
You going somewhere?
you could say that.
Yeah. Okay. Going outside. That's where you're going.
Yeah, the great outdoors.
Yeah. It's give people the exact address where you're it's 80s and sunny and it's pretty good out here. Kind of the best weather. I think the 80s is really my favorite
I love the 80s.
range of temperature.
I love George Michael.
Yep.
I love Kiss.
These guilty feet have got no reason. And you have no recourse.
I'm never gonna dance again.
Well, I have no recourse.
Guilty feet, I've got no recourse. Though it's easy to pretend.
I know I don't have recourse.
That's what I said when you guys walked into my backyard 15 minutes ago.
Yeah. I don't have any recourse. Yeah. I don't know. This is good, though.
It was a long night.
Yeah.
Made a lot of regrets last night. But,
Yeah? A lot of mistakes you
a
got?
lot of mistakes.
Yeah? What did you do? Tell everyone.
Don't be bashful now.
Right? Provide names and addresses.
Ooh, she's in the neighborhood.
Oh, that kind of bad decision.
Girl next door type of bad decision.
Ooh, literally.
Oh, so I was hanging out with Noe. I guess I shouldn't say my neighbor's name.
R.I.P.
And so she shows up and she gives him a lap dance. This is what we're doing.
Yeah.
It's pretty
Man,
fun.
I got to move into your neighborhood. Your neighborhood sounds fun.
Apparently it's a party. Well, it's funny. I took a wrong turn because I missed you. I don't know how. But there's a delightful little community over there. Gated community. Very
Gay little
nice.
community?
Right over there?
Just right over there.
Yeah, it's a,
And I was like, well, why doesn't Andrew live here? They might not have a backyard. You got a nice backyard.
Yeah. But it was pretty cool to see a couple of cop cars showed up last night scooping up one of my neighbors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the ethnicity of your neighbor?
He was white. Yeah.
Well, still happens.
So he deserved it, huh?
Got him. Yeah. He had no recourse. He had to let it go. The cops show up.
Yeah, two 9mm strained on. He's like, what can I say?
I have no recourse.
I guess I'll come quietly so you don't shoot me.
Oh man, yeah. Every day they force Dale to pick the poke button at Meta. He just, I guess I have no recourse. Dale is the OG not having a recourse guy. Like, I'm locked in here. They've got my family. I guess I have no recourse.
I don't have shit.
One day there's going to be a guy named Dale that watches these videos. And he's like,
that's me.
I feel seen and heard.
Yeah, it's gonna be the Leo DiCaprio meme. Like, hey,
Yeah.
you know,
He's going to be the top commenter.
yeah. Just Dale. It's his at.
The first 15 minutes
The
today was
real
great,
Dale.
guys. Yeah.
It's at just Dale. Please send help. Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he doesn't have recourse. There's nothing he can do. No.
But I think that's the entirety of the Western world is feeling this. Like, we all know that there's problems.
Yeah.
Nobody's denying there's problems.
Yeah.
Right. Some people don't agree on like exactly what they are, but everyone knows that the whole situation is just fucked up. But it's like, what are you going to do about it? I mean, the housing market is too expensive. What are you going to do? Buy it and lower the prices? You know, it doesn't work. You can't do it.
Yeah.
Jeff Bezos himself couldn't do it, even if he wanted to. He definitely doesn't want to, but he couldn't do it if he tried.
That's what got Bezos out of bed for a long time. You know, still couldn't do it.
Did you see those? Jeff Bezos, you know, these billionaires, like periodically they'll do like a little puff piece and they try to appear like human or normal or cool.
Yeah.
He did one and he's like posing with like his new girlfriend who's like a supermodel and he's like wearing a cowboy hat. They're like sitting on a horse or something.
Right.
I don't know
I think I remember this. Yeah.
People were just like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah. Well, you know, he's from Texas.
Interesting.
Ain't that wild? Yeah. I think said he was like raised on a farm in Texas or something, which is like kind of nuts.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I know.
Well, where in Texas, generally?
I don't know. Maybe he lived in this house.
He could have.
Yeah. We farm great ideas out here.
At some point, he's going to have to do an origin story and reveal why he has a gimp ass eye. Because we're all wondering, it's like, what is with the eyeball? What happened to your eye?
It's not a sty, is it? Does he have a head wound?
Oh, he's the Antichrist.
That would make sense. What if one day he just showed up in public and his eye was fixed?
Yeah.
Then we'd all know it was a problem.
Yep.
But I don't know if you've been to Whole Foods lately, but they absolutely are piloting like a palm payment method. Have you seen this?
Yeah. It's Indian, right?
Yeah, AI.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know how it works, but I see it has a little thing. It's like, oh, you can pay with your hand.
So they still have that? I thought they discontinued that idea.
I mean, the Whole Foods in the domain it says on the screen, hey, or there's like a little sticker.
So how do they, what are they like?
I don't know.
How do they get your biometrics for that?
I assume that you just let it scan your hand once and then you're good.
Oh, and then they just have that forever. I feel awesome about that.
Wow. Okay. So I'm not going to be going to Whole Foods anytime soon.
Yep.
All right.
Yep. Looks
They
like
also have a sign that says "Observe Ramadan."
Yeah. Yeah.
Back to Amazon. Are you guys familiar with the fatal crash, the fatal 18-wheeler crash that just happened a couple of days?
No, what happened?
Didn't hear.
Yeah, apparently, I don't know, an Amazon 18-wheeler driver was on antidepressants. I don't know. The list of drugs that he was on is undisclosed because Amazon is really going hard after prosecuting the driver and not the company. And so anyway, like a crazy amount of people were killed. Let's just say 14. I don't know.
That's a lot.
It's in the teens.
Dang.
That's a high record.
Yes, and it was super fucked up. And anyways, apparently there's still wreckage on the side of I-35 to this day because there's an ongoing investigation. But I wouldn't be surprised if Amazon is doing its best to basically prosecute the driver and not the company. Because a lot of the people that are injured are going after Amazon right now.
Oh, of course.
Like millions. So...
Well, I mean, I'm sure you don't know all the details, but I mean, did they own the truck? I mean, because generally, how it traditionally would work is they vetted him, so therefore they're liable, unless he did something after the vetting, which changed. But if he was on the antidepressants when they vetted him and they didn't check for it, then it's basically just on them. But it's also worth noticing that these drug manufacturers they'll say what they think you can and can't do while you're on the drug. And generally, there's nothing that says you can't take antidepressants and drive. So.
You know who's my least favorite person at family get-togethers? Antidepressants. Got her. You have no recourse.
I wasn't ready for this podcast today.
I'm gonna name my gun Recourse.
My brain can't handle
That's what I'm gonna do.
Yeah. I have a backup plan. It's an AR-15 named Recourse.
Recourse. I do have some recourse. That is a great name for a gun, though. Recourse.
Oh, that's awesome.
You know?
pretty cool.
That's absolutely
I won't be
amazing.
using it in the Revolutionary War because I have no recourse. But
Well, isn't that why Mark Zuckerberg is building VR chat and Meta AI and all this? It's so we can have the second Civil War in VR. Right?
oh, I like that. That's maybe that's just what
Expound
Fortnite
upon
is.
that, dude. That's
Well,
pretty
I mean,
interesting.
think about it. You
Yeah.
do an actual war. It's very expensive.
Yeah.
People die. You got
can't
to
afford it.
bury them. You got to
Yeah.
move the bodies.
There's
There's all this
debt.
paperwork.
Yeah.
What if you just had the combatants duke it out in VR?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then, according to what they destroyed in the simulation, you
Yeah.
just destroy that in real life. It's like, oh, okay, they got the Cap building in VR.
Yeah.
We'll do a scheduled, controlled demolition of the Cap building. No need for anyone inside to actually get hurt.
What the
Yeah.
The
fuck?
people who are killed inside the VR, we're just going to put them in cryostasis for 100 years,
We
right?
gotta-
Because their life would be over, and then we'll bring
Yeah.
them back and
Yeah.
have a second chance.
Dang, bro.
That is a really good plot to a movie, by the way.
I wish I could say I made it up, but somebody told me there was a book along these lines,
Yeah.
which there always is, right?
Yeah.
Right,
They
yeah.
always write these books, and then they get the ideas. So I don't know what book it is, but apparently there's a book that's more or less.
But to be in the Civil War, you're going to have to use a Wii U, or as I call it, a
a wee woo.
that clipped, I'm sure.
You'll get on that. You'll get on the balance board, right? Remember they had the balance board for the Wii U?
Yeah. The Wii U was out for like 7 days or something, and then it got discontinued.
No, you're thinking of the Wii U. Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
I was thinking of the Wii.
Yeah. No,
I
the Wii
love
was
the
great.
Wii U. Yeah, the Wii was great. The
you
Wii
did
U
have
was
wars
great.
on the Wii. That was the
absolutely.
boxing and stuff.
Yeah.
That was nuts.
Well, back then the shopping wars were at a peak, like the Black Friday bustle. People were actually dying back then. They ran the number. I think more than 14 people died just on a Black Friday, and the Wii was one of the leading. And they also had a contest. There was this town, and they did a contest called "Hold Your Wii for a Wii," and you had to drink like 2 gallons of water and not piss for like. It went on for a long time. It went on so long that a woman died from having too much piss built up in her bladder.
Huh.
And they were like, maybe this was in bad taste.
Interesting.
Unfortunately, at that point, they had no recourse.
Exactly.
There was nothing that could be done.
Callback, baby.
Title of the episode.
Fuck yeah.
It's been a whole 3.5 minutes since we said that. So,
We get a producer for the podcast. We pay someone to produce the podcast. Like, I watched your content. Bad news. Repetition is lazy humor. You've got to stop it. It sucks. You can't just say the same thing over and over again until it's funny.
Well, they have no recourse.
Okay, all right.
This thing's going out there.
You can't stop me.
That was Nick's Jewish
Can't stop.
grandmother.
No.
Yeah.
Absolutely hysterical.
Yeah. It is
But yeah,
the best.
tech used to really, the tech boom back then. I don't think people now understand how exciting it was for new tech. Tech is essentially flatline.
Yes.
I mean, when was the last new tech invention that was actually like, oh, okay, this is like a whole modal change.
The Apple Vision Pro. No.
That's what they marketed it as.
Yeah, I know.
That's what they were desperate
Yeah.
for you to think that.
Yeah.
But in fact, it was just a glorified iPhone that
Yeah.
you glued to your face.
Yeah.
And it had fewer features than an iPhone.
Frankly, it kind of sucked a little bit too. I went and did one of those demos in the mall. I don't know if y'all ever actually went
Is this
to
the goggles?
Yeah, the AR or
Okay.
VR. Yeah, VR or whatever.
The tiny little glass thing.
No, they're not tiny.
They're
They're
huge. And it's like
Smacked
made
on
of
your
like a bunch
face.
of plastic. And
Yeah.
apparently they hurt.
It was so that was the thing. It was extremely uncomfortable. There was a lot of light bleed. They couldn't seem to get a fit that like worked for me.
Yeah.
And then like on top of it, it just wasn't that amazing of an experience.
Right.
Sorry, Apple, but like they basically released a dev kit
Yeah.
that diehards would also buy. And I don't. It's not even really hidden. I think it's fairly clear that like that's what it was, you know. But it kind of sucked. At no point did I feel like buying that thing. You
No.
know? So
No. Probably the only people that bought it were paid to buy it.
yeah.
Because they do that. They'll give them away and then like they'll spend the money on marketing. They'll spend money out of their own marketing budget to buy their own device and then give it to an influencer. And then they'll count it as a sale because the ledgers move from one side to the other. Like this is a sale, and then they'll claim that as income. But here's income. We bought 10,000 of our own units, and here's our losses, which is from a different department. It's ridiculous. But this is probably why Apple stock fell for like the first time, ever. Because when I went to college, the Mactards there were like, the professor literally was like,
Mactards.
the professor was a Mactard, of course, and he was like, Apple stocks don't fall. Like there's an exception to every rule. Every stock rises and falls. Apple stocks don't fall. It's impossible. You'll never see Apple fall. I think they actually over the last, I think it was 2 years, they lost about 200 billion in market value.
Good.
Which it's just has never happened before. But surprise, surprise, it coincides with this Mactard Pro vision and the Apple car that they were trying to make. Were you aware that they wanted to make an Apple car?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
And they spent a bunch of years wasted. They spent a couple billion on it, and they had like some Photoshop pictures of what it would look like. Which they basically just like photoshopped the Tesla to have an Apple logo on it, and then nothing happened, and they canceled it. And then they moved the dev team from that to the Apple Vision Pro. Gee, you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes.
You win stupid Apple cars. It's dumb. That's why we're not making it. What if Trump, after his final term in office, which may be his second or third, we don't know, but after his final term in office, what if he becomes the CEO of Apple
That'd be pretty funny.
and lets Tim Apple retire?
Tim.
Is he even alive, Tim Apple? Is that the guy that died?
I think he's been not with us for a number of years, but
Well, you're talking about Steve Jobs.
you're thinking of Steve Jobs.
And Steve Jobs named a successor, which was Tim Cook.
Yeah, who Trump one time called Tim Apple, and it was hilarious. So that's what we're going to be doing.
That's such a granddad thing to do.
Right. Tim, whatever company he owns.
You know, it's like, here's the major players. You got Henry Ford, you got Tim Apple.
Yeah. Jeff Amazon.
Jeff Amazon, and of course, you can't forget Mark Facebook. That's my favorite.
Sundar Google.
Excuse me, Mark Meta, new Facebook.
Yeah. Mark Meta, Facebook, Instagram, the third. Number one oppressor of tail. Oh, boy.
Do we want to talk about the pillars that were just found underneath the pyramids of Giza?
Yeah, let's talk about them.
Sure.
Yeah.
So, which aliens do you think left those?
The Atlanteans.
Yeah?
Yeah. Or
They
actually,
they went from underground, lifted
Yeah,
the pyramids
it's-
up, you think?
yeah, apparently there's, I don't know. This is
What do you think? Maybe,
strictly TikTok, so
okay.
100%.
Maybe the pyramids were
Accurate,
underground.
but-
They used these pillars to push them up. Maybe the pillars were actually a natural occurring phenomenon.
Maybe.
The pyramids.
Maybe they fucked them up. Maybe they were supposed to be like starting from the bottom and going to the top,
Yeah.
but then it just fell over.
Yeah.
You know? 'Cause
Yeah.
The pyramid that falls over, it's just a pyramid.
Yeah.
right?
Egyptian Drake was like started at the bottom. Now we're
And that would explain the sphinxes.
the Sphinxters.
Because nobody's talking about the sphinxes.
I used to walk around like a cool cat in Egypt. I was like, "What's up, my Sphinxter?"
Because what happened to their nose? Are we going to talk about the nose situation?
Yeah. Yeah, when are we going to talk about the important issues here of what happened to the notes on the Sphinxes, which were made 3.5 million years ago by pillars under the ground?
Because, rich people love to get nose jobs.
Yeah.
The sphinxes have no nose. What is this?
Where do we think we got those noses?
Voldemort has no nose?
Yeah.
You're going to tell me this is all a coincidence?
Wouldn't that be a plot twist if actually the Jews were the pharaohs and so they were just self-conscious of their nose? So they're like,
Chop that shit off.
Yeah. We can't
that
let
out of
anybody
there.
know that the Jews were actually the ones in charge.
Right.
Yeah, you just plummeted the algorithm.
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
what if instead of being enslaved by the Egyptians, the Jews were the Egyptians? So really, it's all the Jews' fault.
I'm going home. Delete
Yeah.
it.
Bam, you
Yeah.
shut down. That's what
Yeah.
happens.
Yeah.
You have no recourse.
And now Nick's grandmother won't even talk to him.
That is a large nose on the Sphinx. We got to remove that.
You're
Yeah.
going to have to
Yeah.
get rid of it.
We have to
Yeah.
get it off.
Well, it's funny because according to DNA science, which of course is a hoax, all DNA science is a hoax. But according to DNA science, the pharaohs were white.
Yeah?
So I mean, you have which makes sense, right? Because Egypt is in Africa, but it's a stone's throw from not in Africa. It's a stone's throw from Asia.
From not Africa.
So usually when you say Africa is a failure to start, right? Let's just use that. Africa never launched, which people say. They say it in a ruder way, but Africa never launched. You say that, and then they'll always counter, what about Egypt? They built the pyramids. Nobody can build the pyramids. Egypt was the greatest civilization in the world. Here's my contention. Egypt, not really an African country.
Doesn't count.
Doesn't count.
We sandwiched it on there later. I picked up Egypt
Hell
and
yeah,
put it
dude.
there. Egypt was in Greenland. Okay.
Or
Which
was
is
it
now
Iceland?
ours. Frankly, we have a claim to Egypt as well.
Yeah.
I was wondering where I left my pillars. Turns out it was under the pyramids.
Oops.
I'm taking it. You have no recourse.
Well, isn't it funny they never talk about the pyramids in South America?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They have pyramids in South America. They're basically just as amazing and impossible to build.
Yeah.
They've been there as long as anybody can tell.
Yeah.
They've been there the same.
You ever go-
Nobody talks.
You ever go to Chichen Itza?
I don't believe I've been.
Okay, well, it's this Mayan pyramid they got down there, and I forget exactly where it is. It's not far from Cancun. When I was in Cancun, we went there. Anyway, it's literally this whole temple that's designed for you to stand back a certain ways and clap, and if you do, it echoes back the sound of a bird to you.
Wow.
And I've done it. And it's one of the most incredible things. It's like impossible to figure out how they did this. But
You sure
they
it
did.
wasn't a Indian? Sorry.
I have no recourse. It might have been. An Indian.
An Indian.
Use correct grammar, you yuts. Yeah, it might have been. But yeah, no, that's also like equally like insane. We don't talk about that.
That's
enough,
pretty
you know?
impressive.
It is.
because that's basically like filter modulation, isn't it? Like
Yeah,
it's like what you would do in GarageBand.
It's like
but
the most outrageous like audio engineering,
Right.
You know, and they just did it.
It makes you wonder that because I wonder if they were just clapping or if they had some sort of vocal performance that they were doing into it.
Like a Mayan Kelly Clarkson, you know.
Maybe my heart will go on.
That reminds me of.
It's not Kelly Clarkson.
I don't know who Kelly Clarkson is.
Besmirched Kelly Clarkson. I just loved it on the same podcast. You said the words recourse and besmirched. This is why I'm here.
Besmirched.
That reminds me of
my car.
in Washington D.C. Right? Okay, so there's a building or a room, and it's in the Congress building or something, but
Yeah.
it's designed to where the sound carries from one corner of the room to the other corner.
Oh yeah.
And so like the new senators that were elected or whatever, elected officials, they weren't aware of this information. So they would have these meetings, and then basically all the information was, gathered by a dude standing on the opposite end of the room. So it was like specifically designed in that way. Anyways, that's what your pyramid reminded me of.
Yeah. It's wild, man. I don't know how they do that stuff, you know. Yeah, we'll get these pyramids things figured out sometime, though.
Well, I mean, so apparently there are Atlanteans that, built the pyramids.
Yeah,
That's all I got for you. Yeah.
I like that idea. Can you confirm this, Nick? Did the Atlanteans build the pyramids?
I can confirm that that's considered like a racist statement.
Yeah,
This is on a list of things that a racist would say.
really.
Yes, because
Crap on a cracker. They're gonna
the
get us.
pyramids are in Africa, and so they're an African accomplishment. And,
Okay.
you would be diminishing African accomplishments if you said that someone else maybe made it. Even though it would make a ton of sense, because it's one tiny part of Africa that's right by a river. If you cross that river, you're not in Africa, and nowhere else in Africa did they ever build anything worth a single goddamn. I'm just telling you, if you say that to someone, they will respond, that's racist because the Africans built the pyramid. You
No
can't
kidding,
diminish
okay.
African accomplishments. The Atlanteans, we don't know anything about
I'm
them.
just trying to give some credit to aliens.
Right.
I feel like that's the real.
They would say that's racist too.
That's nuts.
Because they're saying, so why when a white man builds I don't know, what's that one chapel in France that's really famous? They made it into Assassin's Creed.
Notre Dame.
Notre Dame. They say, well, when a white man builds Notre Dame, you give the credit to Europe and to white men. But when an African builds the pyramids, you give the credit to a white Atlantean.
I think
or
I'm
a
really.
white alien.
you gave his job to a white Atlantean. Those damn white Atlanteans, they're taking our germs. No, listen, I'm trying to give credit to Alien. Listen, if the pyramids were in America, I would not think that white people did that. I would think still aliens.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. Because Stonehenge is in Europe, and a lot of people are like, hey, realistically, how the hell did these ancient white dudes have been able to lift these rocks?
But at the same time, the pyramids were like 50 Stonehenges, right?
Yeah.
Like I think we're really just trying to talk about the amazingness of pyramids, and not so much about how much we don't like the people in the area or something.
I mean, I'm not saying that I think the theory.
Yeah, no, but I'm saying like that. I'm saying like that's my response back to that.
Right.
Know?
Also, hot take: we are the aliens. So
sure.
Yeah, so the theory with these pillars underneath the Pyramid of Giza or whatever is uncovering, I don't know, something to do with Atlanteans were basically spiritual beings and they didn't have a physical form. And so out of the Atlanteans, humans were created. And so we are the predecessors of an alien race that...
Successors, right?
Successors,
yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Well, because I like that. I like conspiracy theories and revisionary history and fantasy stuff. I mean, where do you all stand on the giant situation?
Nephilim?
Well, just giants.
I don't know, but I do know it's a big problem.
I don't have anything intelligent to say, but I will say it's a problem. There's an average diplomat or ambassador, the diplomatic political approach. Like, what do you think about 60,000 kids in an arena? Like, look, I don't have all the details with me right now. I haven't been fully debriefed on the situation, but I will say that it's clearly a problem.
It's bad.
It's clearly bad.
We'll be releasing 80,000 pages.
The parties in charge, should clearly review all options.
Yeah,
and
while we monitor, we're monitoring it. We've got Dale sitting in a room going, okay.
Dale's like, it's fucked. I don't know. I mean, I'm looking at all of it. It's really bad.
We have no recourse.
We have no recourse.
I need to take a vacation right now.
Or die. I would also like to die.
I would like to die right now.
At Dale, please kill me.
Dale, please set me free.net.org.edu.
Number one commenter of all film videos on YouTube with the tag meta. Just at Dale, please kill me.
That would be a nice use for AI that they could do. Like, why not have an AI comment on my video for once? Have an AI watch my video.
I think they do that, right?
I've never seen a single comment.
Well,
I would take a totally inaccurate comment. That would be cool with me.
I'll get my AI to put something on there.
Okay.
You have no recourse.
Look at that boosting. Yeah, the giant situation is cool because if you look at a lot of old pictures, not just from Europe, but from all parts of the world, they usually portray like a bunch of like tiny little humans, and then there's just like a massive big dog human, like at least 10 feet tall, and he's just like chilling on a throne. Sometimes he's like eating or raping the people, small people, and sometimes they're like commanding them to work, and it's just interesting. A lot of people get really deep into the giant thing.
Yeah,
like, oh, giants are real. Giants, the true inheritors of the earth.
Well, it says in the Bible, doesn't it say Goliath is like 9'9" or something like that?
It says he was quite tall.
Yeah, and, big old boy.
He was killed by a rock to the head.
Yeah, all I know is if I see one of those, I'm hucking a rock. You know.
Yeah.
I'm hucking Dwayne the Rock Johnson.
Finally, a use for this yet.
Finally, something to use this idiot.
I've been wondering what the hell to do with him.
Man's box office Viagra. You're like, what are we going to do with Dwayne the Rock?
He's fallen off.
He was, yeah.
Hollywood is finally moving on. They were addicted like crack.
They were.
Dwayne the Rock Johnson for about 10, 15 years.
We were addicted.
Well, it took so long before people were like, this guy actually kind of is not that good.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think his audience just decided to stop going to the movies altogether. I also think that once he got a hold of like a superhero movie franchise, I think honestly that went to his head. You know?
Yeah.
I think he literally thought he was going to be like the second coming of Christ in that thing, and it was god awful. You know?
Well, so you're aware that written in the Rock's clause is that if you hire him for a movie, no character he portrays can lose a fight.
Yeah.
Are you aware of this?
That sounds right. I think I've heard something like this.
He's acting like it's 1950s Hollywood.
Yeah.
Because back then you would play a heavy or you would play a good guy.
Yeah.
And the heavy wins every fight but the last fight.
Yeah.
Those are the rules.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So if your career was starting to slump a little bit, you'd come back and do a bad guy arc. get more screen time, you get to win, you get to show off how tough you are, but you lose in the end. But you get paid just as good, but the career is a little bit different. And he comes from the WWE, which essentially co-opted that system.
Yes.
If you do good enough, if you start as a villain and you do good enough, they'll give you a redemption arc and you become a hero, and vice versa.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I guess he still thinks he's in the WWE.
Probably, yeah. I mean, I get it. You make millions of dollars doing something, your brain's probably going to be wired to keep doing it, you know? But, yeah, I don't know. I just feel like he kind of got pretty... I think that he was like, as soon as I get a superhero movie franchise, I'm going to be like, you know, we're going to blow this out the water. And it was pretty terrible.
Well, you know, it's kind of... It's funny. I went to see it with my friend.
Yeah.
Which one?
Black Adam.
Oh, okay.
African-American Adam.
African-American Adam.
Yeah.
And I thought it was entertaining enough. I didn't have any major issues with it. I mean, he's kind of like, he doesn't have like a huge range as a lead.
Right. That's the other problem.
He's kind of got one zone and he sticks in it, and it's a good zone.
Yeah.
And I mean, obviously he has his physique, which is spectacular. You know.
It's spectacular. It's beautiful.
He's a god. There's no question. Whatever he's on, whatever he does, it's astounding. I mean,
we're going to talk about his physique the rest of the podcast. It's just really incredible.
Pecs.
I think about it when I lay down at night.
Thinking about it right now.
Yeah, he's thinking about it right now. Nothing Rock can do. He got no recourse.
I don't know. I got to disagree with you, Nick. Have you yet to watch Southland Tales?
You got me. I have not seen Southland
Don't
Tales.
do it.
There's some range in that.
But I understand that he's not the lead in that. Being a lead is a whole different thing.
Yeah,
I'm not saying he's a bad actor. He's a way better actor than I am. By a million miles, he's a better actor than I am. But as a lead, you know, I don't know. It's just tough. You know?
He was the Patsy Messiah in Southland Tales. Yeah.
Yeah, he
Turns out it was Sean William Scott.
I think his role in Pain and Gain was phenomenal.
Yeah.
Right.
I think he was so good. He was so funny in that movie. He didn't miss a beat.
Yeah.
That movie is almost perfect in my opinion.
Yeah.
I mean, I like Michael Bay movies. I think that's one of his better ones.
That's what this podcast is going to be about.
That's the problem. You like Michael Bay movies.
Yeah. You're fucking dumb. Idiot.
Well, I just like that Michael Bay doesn't pretend to be smart. Like some like directors and writers in Hollywood, they want to act like they're like the intelligentsia or something. Like they're really not very smart. It's funny when you boil it down. Like if you ever catch them like off script, they really just they have no idea what.
Well, apparently Michael Bay spent a lot of time working on the Transformers movies, like conveying to people how metal reflects.
Yeah,
you know,
I've
like
heard
reflects light, which is like
Well, there's a pretty interesting documentary on that. I don't know if you guys have any like interest in like special effects from movies.
A little bit, yeah. Hit us.
It's pretty interesting. You know, it's basically a team of artists, like dozens to hundreds of people working on it.
Yeah.
And they have a YouTube video where basically he does a deep dive into how they did it. And apparently, like when the first Transformers came out, they actually did not have the processing power to like accurately like do that sheen like in real time. Now they basically just have a filter and they can put it on. So they had to do like a lot of different like workarounds basically. And it was like a frame by frame type of situation.
Yeah.
And they designed like these like custom rust and like dirt like filters that they could put over it, and that like helped with the lighting a lot, because otherwise they would have looked too glossy, too reflective. But now I guess it's much easier.
Nick likes something and it's Michael Bay movies.
Plot
twist.
Those hipster motherfuckers, like, my favorite films are Transformers and the Men in Black films.
It is a hot take, but
that's pretty
very respectable.
I like
The
it.
Island
No.
was good.
Yeah.
You guys seen The
That
Island?
was actually good.
Yeah.
Ewan McGregor.
That was
Shout out to Ewan
check
if
that
you're
one out.
that was
watching.
Michael Bay.
Yeah.
Michael Bay.
Yeah. He told me he did that one.
Yeah.
Oh, Michael Bay was deep in the Jerry Bruckheimer camp. I don't know if y'all know.
Oh,
this.
I mean, that makes sense, I guess.
Yeah, and I guess they had a schism of some sort. Michael Bay was too talented. Jerry Bruckheimer was too talented.
Yeah.
And then the twain parted.
Oh, crap.
Yeah.
That's too bad. Oh, man. Jerry Bruckheimer. What a time it was during the Pirates of the Caribbean films.
Oh, yeah.
That was a moment.
That was crazy.
That was really a cultural moment. It was around the time as Lord of the Rings. That's why it got kind of buried a little bit. Didn't get the full appreciation, I feel like, that it deserved.
Yeah.
You know?
Well,
Those are really
people-
quite the films.
They are. And speaking of special effects, to this day, there's still a ton of videos about how good the animation on Davy Jones was. Because that was actually the first movie where they had the dude on set with the other actors, and he just
In the
wore like
mocap.
the balls, and then they did it all later. Because before that, like when they did Gollum, a lot of the scenes with Gollum, they actually did him on a green screen and they would superimpose him apparently. So Lord of the Rings like slightly missed the mark on having like the first like fully integrated and blended like 3D character with the cast.
That's the squid-looking guy, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Jack Sparrow. Yeah.
Do you feel death?
He looks like Nick if
Fuck,
those were
that's a good
tentacles.
one.
I can see that.
Yeah.
Because what is the name of the man that plays him?
Bill Nye.
Bill Nye.
But not the science guy.
Yeah, he looks slightly like me. He's like a smaller version.
I'm just, if your hair was tentacles, that's what I'm really getting at
That
here.
would be pretty rad.
Yeah. That would be pretty cool.
Apparently, they bullied Bill Nye on the set. Not bullied him, but like, so everyone was all dressed up, and like he thought he was going to have a costume.
Yeah.
Like, he thought he was going to have pirate
He had a
attire.
gray leotard.
And he said that like people didn't want to eat lunch with him.
Yeah. They thought he was dumb.
They like separated the characters with the balls. For the,
This guy won't even put his costume on.
like this. Yeah.
I'm here.
Talk about a lack of professionalism.
Right?
Making this look like a bunch of amateurs.
Put up in his long johns.
We're all here. We're dressed up. We're ready to film. We got makeup on. This guy comes in butt naked,
Hey.
balls dropped.
Hey, he showed up in his long john silvers.
Nice.
If you don't like it, you ain't got no recourse. You got no recourse, and you got no recourse, and
You got no recourse. You got no recourse. You
You've got no recourse. You've got no recourse. Jerry Winfeld. You've got no recourse, and you've got no no recourse for you. Today you're all getting no recourse. The autistic people from the 60s watching at home, they can't afford the taxes on that recourse.
You gotta pay to play. You got no dough. You got no options. What can I say?
You got no option. No one's doing that. You're like, yeah, it's like this. You got no option. Like, no one does that. Oh my god. Oh boy.
But no, I really think that's a big part of the malaise that's sweeping the West. It's just this general pervading feeling that like whatever happens, we can't really stop it, and we don't really have the ability to offer meaningful change.
Yeah.
And I think that's the problem. You know? As I mentioned, the VR wars. You know, there's not like a lot of real wars going on. It's like all cyber wars.
Right.
But there are the culture wars, which
Sure.
at this point, for a while, like when Trump and like Alex Jones and like Paul Joseph Watson, they were saying it and they were like, it's a dumb buzzword. It's a stupid thing. Culture wars. There's no such thing. At this point, basically everyone acknowledges like, it's totally real. There's multiple factions living here.
Yeah.
And we have different values, and we're not outright fighting each other, but we are vying for resource and influence, 100%. We want money, and we want the ability to put our view out there. We want a platform. So, and that's as legitimate a war as anything. You could be fighting over Hamburger Hill, or you could be fighting for a spot in the algorithm so that people hear what you have to say. And I mean, ideally, if we lived in a paradise, everyone would have an equal ability to say something, but that's just not how it works. Just isn't how things go.
Well, you can get a Twitter account, though. Say what you want.
You get a Twitter account, you could pay Elon Musk $8 a month, and he will verify you
Yeah.
with a blue check mark.
He'll go, you are a person.
I mean, he seems like a person to me. I don't really see an issue with putting him out there.
Kermit the Tech Billionaire.
I was watching a video on Elon Musk's dad, and I didn't even know this, but Elon Musk's dad is very much alive.
Yeah.
He says things. He speaks, he does interviews. He's a person that exists.
He like walks around and stuff?
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
And he totally thwarts his son at like every angle possible. Because Elon Musk was like, they were like, didn't you come from like an emerald mining family? Doesn't your dad own an emerald mine? Doesn't your family like hold slaves in Africa? He's like, no, we had divested those assets by then. I didn't get to use any of those assets when I got into PayPal.
Well, now Mark Zuckerberg is Elon's dad.
And then his dad comes out, he's like, that little shit's lying.
That little fucker's an idiot.
He's like, nah, he's bullshitting you. We have an emerald mine. We still have it. He's got shares in the emerald mine.
He goes, I can say this. He has no recourse.
He also said of his son, this is an actual quote, he said, He was a problem child, and he acted too retarded at school, so we had to homeschool him.
Yikes.
So Elon Musk is probably the world's richest homeschool
Yeah.
graduate.
Yeah. Well, if he's the world's richest person, then yeah. He says Putin's got more money than him, though. He keeps saying that. You guys know that? He continues to say that Putin has way more money than he does.
Well, if you were the leader of the greatest country on the planet,
Yeah,
right.
would you really be honest with how much wealth you have?
Well, apparently, yeah, I mean, he doesn't disclose it.
Yeah.
You think Russia's better than the good old U.S.?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I've been asking myself that question
Yeah.
for a while.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting to know that not all leaders are made equally. Like some leaders are just like kind of like some garden variety politicians, and they have good relationships with people, and eventually they're put in a spot, and but they're really like playing ball with these people. But then once in a while, you get like this real maverick who came from a whole different background and had a whole range of influences and powers before even becoming a leader, and now that's just further consolidated, and that's him. Putin was in Spetsnaz. Putin was in the KGB. Like the dude was like a commander of like Secret Service operations. Like he's the dude pulling the trigger on assassinations, torturings. Like he was like a genuinely, legitimately powerful person. And then he parlayed it in becoming a leader. So he is not the same as other leaders. He's not a leader like Trump by any measure. Trump was just like a TV celebrity. Like this dude was a commander. So and even if he was no longer the president, which apparently he's going to be the president until he dies. Even if he was no longer the president, he would still be in charge of Russia. So, yeah, I mean, if he really does control that much of Russia as like they make out, then yeah, I mean, he should be richer. Maybe not in like pure like money on hand or stocks, but if you think that like a single phone call from him could trash a bunch of stocks and put a bunch of shit in the gutter, then yeah, he is functionally. I mean, there's no question he's more powerful than Musk. Because I've been saying Musk is not as powerful as he seems. Like it's crazy to me that they evaluated him as the world's richest person.
Yeah.
And been watching some videos on that too.
Yeah.
And because I don't understand all the numbers, but from what I hear, the valuation is not remotely accurate.
Well, now with Tesla stock taking a dump, I'm very curious if that's got to be probably shifting as well.
Well, people are starting to figure out that the self-driving wet dream is just not going to happen.
Yeah.
Yes.
And he admitted himself. He's like, look,
Fuck yeah, bro.
He's right now they value us this high because
Uber drivers.
they believe that we'll crack self-driving.
Yeah.
Which is the new technology that they need. We talked about a modality of technology that is a whole paradigm shift. Fully 100% autonomous vehicles would be that. And he said if they ever figure out that we can't deliver or that it's going to take longer, then
fucked.
our stock is fucked.
Yeah.
And I mean, literally, they recounted him in 2018.
Yeah.
We're going to have self-driving in a year. 2019. We're going to have self-driving in a year. 2020.
Yeah.
We're right on the verge. 2021. Self-driving right around the, like, when is the self-driving coming out?
Isn't it insane that we still can't make robots that can just fucking drive on their own? But like human beings have been around for what, like millions of years or something like that, and we've
6,000 years.
6,000. Okay, still apparently we've been able to drive the whole time. Nuts.
It's almost like we're not the same as the other creatures on this earth.
Yeah.
it's one of the things that gets your mind spinning. It's almost like...
I can tell you one big difference. They have no recourse. We do whatever the fuck we want to those bad boys. You got no recourse. My recourse is right here. But if the UK comes... I got no recourse.
Like, yeah, I can't see myself being ruled by a cross-dresser in a crown. I just can't see that.
We're not going to do it, folks.
We
we are going to do it, folks. You got no recourse. I'm sorry. I took all your guns.
But I wouldn't really be upset if
We got about 10 minutes.
they took over. I mean, what difference would it really make? And if Russia took over somehow, like if the power shifted and definitively Russia was at the head of the big three.
Yeah.
Because on paper, the United States is the head of the big three. Yeah. These three superpowers are roughly equivalent. They're deadlocked, but the United States is considered to have a controlling interest and a prevailing position.
Yeah.
But if that switched and Russia was now big dick of the world, what difference? I'm not even asking this rhetorically. What difference do you think it would make to us or to anyone that you know or to anybody you can think of? What difference would it make?
Not much, I suppose.
I mean, I'm not trying to browbeat you. I'm asking sincerely.
Yeah,
like,
no.
can you imagine what would change if Russia occupied the United States and they swept the leadership out of the White House and they put their own people in there and they just left the local government, which is now headed by a Russian federal government? What would change in our day-to-day lives?
Well, you can make the argument that we've sort of been operating under a North Korean-like system for quite some time. I don't know. It depends on how far you want to go down the rabbit hole. But I mean, like,
Let's go down.
I probably wouldn't make that
We
argument.
got 10
but
minutes.
you
Let's
can.
go all the way down.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, how many freedoms do we actually really have? You know,
We have
have
one
the-
essential freedom.
Yeah.
We can choose to participate in the market or not.
right?
That's it.
Yeah.
I mean, you can participate in the market or you can not, and you can die. Or if you are self-sufficiently wealthy, you can recuse yourself from the market. Just understand that your wealth will decrease every single day because, as they say, cash is trash.
But what you're trying to say is if the whole market was bakeries, our options are cake or death, is what you're trying to
Basically.
impart on me?
Yeah.
Okay. We have no recourse. Cake, death, or recourse, but we have no recourse.
But no, I do really struggle, and I'm sure someone smarter than me could list several things that would change. But what really would change? I mean, do you think that they would just stop Uber in its tracks? They'd be like, no more Uber. Like, do you think that they would tell Amazon not to deliver packages? Do you think that they would shut down police precincts? No, they would probably put a percentage of Russian operators in the police precincts, but there's no reason to shut it down. All these things are just assets that serve the market. So if they become the market, what changes?
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, Tucker Carlson just did a whole puff piece about, oh, well, yeah, you know, here I am in Russia. I'm driving around in a car. The Russians make cars. We make cars. We have cars here. They have cars here. Their cars cost a whole shit ton less, but they have cars. And I'm going to take the car and I'm going to go to a supermarket. Here's a supermarket in Russia. I'm walking through. As you can see, they have everything you would think. They have canned food. They have fruits. They have produce. They have meat.
It's all there.
You know, so I mean,
They got eggs for $14.99. Sorry.
at least $9 for a dozen, which is a lot of money. So you know, it's just food for thought because they're like whipping us into a frenzy, like, oh, these Chinese are so scary, aren't they? So scary.
We're scared of the Chinese.
They are. That's the thing. And they use the Chinese as a boogeyman for everything. They're like, we need more market participation because the Chinese are all in. They have 100% market participation. So we need 100%. They work 996. 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., 6 days a week. We need you to work more. They have more people. We need more people. Doesn't matter where they come from. Honduras, Somalia, Nicaragua, doesn't matter. Get them over here because we need those people. And I really think that they're kind of missing the point. But I don't know. I mean, what do you guys think? Am I off in the deep end here? I mean,
No,
That's what we love about you, Max. You're always in the deep end.
I'm in total agreement with you, man.
Yeah.
I did not wake up this morning thinking I was going to do a podcast. So
Yeah.
well, what a blessing for you.
Right?
I'm
that we
just glad
blessed him
you're
with this.
100% mentally here and present with us today.
Yeah.
No, you seem pretty lucid.
Yeah.
Been drinking water. That's good.
Thank you.
You've been in the middle, you're going to get all kinds of attention.
Yeah. We do have to figure out how to like actually move the frame and focus on the person actually talking.
Yeah.
I feel like
Well, we
Today I've just
need
been so
multiple
down
cameras and a
thinking
production
about-
crew.
Yeah.
Rock the Dwayne Johnson.
Well, we could just set up 3 cell phones, and we
Where are we going to
just
get 3 cell phones?
If only we could find.
You think we have? You think it's 1 cell phone per person these days? You think every single person has a cell phone?
we can
you,
pretend
that
to be
must be
homeless
delusional.
and go to the homeless shelter and they'll give us an Obama phone.
Obama phone?
You know, you can see through it though, because his one design stipulation was, "Let me be clear."
Hell yeah, dude.
Can see
That's
right,
back,
can
baby.
see right through that guy.
Yeah.
Some gay people are like, "Let me be clear." They do. I don't make the rules. That's just what they said.
Obama sure does love gay people.
There you go.
I mean, some people say they love gay people, right? But then there's loving gay people.
There is, yeah, there is. I'm sorry, I have no recourse.
Let me be clear.
Yeah.
I love gay people. I want to put a gay person in the Oval Office.
Yeah, I got a gay person. Yeah. Why is Jerry Seinfeld Oprah? It doesn't make any sense. Yeah, get a gay. Yeah, get the gays. But you're not getting any recourse.
I would say the world has changed a lot since Jerry Seinfeld was the biggest comedian on the planet. I'm
Yeah.
not saying things were better when Jerry Seinfeld was on top, but
Yeah, everything changed when he lost weight.
yeah. Did he lose weight?
It was no longer the biggest comedian.
Well, he also started to bald. His hairline started to go, and instead of fixing his hairline, he just retired, basically.
Instead of fixing my hairline, I've got to write some jokes.
Had a smash hit with the B movie, and then he never even tried to follow it up.
I heard it wasn't that great. I heard it was kind of a B movie. You have no recourse.
I want to die.
I want to die.
Gotta get on the Stairmaster.
The title of this
and drink all the
episode.
water.
The title of this episode is "No Recourse" or "I'm Leaving," but I can't.
It's awesome.
Where are we at?
Oh, we're done. I
Yeah.
turned the camera off 15 minutes ago. I'm sitting here.
The camera hasn't been on the whole time.
Yeah.
We've just been jerking your dick.
All right.